Are you concerned about the increasing censorship of America's conservative and Christian voices? If so, you won't want to miss this special edition of A View from the Wall.
Join I Am a Watchman Ministries Managing Editor Joe Kerr with co-host Dylan Burrows, bringing you a fascinating discussion regarding the importance of Bible prophecy and Christian living today as it relates to our responsibility as believers to be watchmen. This is A View from the Wall.
Welcome to A View from the Wall. This is Dylan Burrows here with co-host Joseph Kerr. And from discussing election fraud to sharing our faith, Americans are increasingly under attack. And this has become especially true from big tech, where media giants remove anyone whose perspective they oppose. And perhaps no one knows this better recently than our friend Mike Lindell, CEO of MyPillow. After voicing his free speech rights concerning election fraud, he was removed from Twitter, silenced across much of social media, and attacked on network news. And yet Mike refuses to back down. In fact, he has a new DVD called Absolute Proof that we will talk about, in addition to addressing free speech issues of importance to us today. And Mike, we want to welcome you once again to A View from the Wall.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, well, great to be with you, and we'll dive right in. There's no doubt that we now live in a cancel culture, but not everyone realizes what this means. And Mike, you've been attacked by the media and targeted as part of cancel culture. What has it been like when you've experienced this?
Well, it's happened to me 3 times where we've been attacked, and it's anything they don't want out there. I was attacked in the summer of 2016. When I was an ex-addict. I never paid attention to politics. God set me free of that on January 16, 2009. And I went into, in the summer of 2016, Donald Trump invited me to meet with him. And I had never met him before. I go in his office, August 15, 2016. And I get in there and we met for about a half hour, 40 minutes. And I got out of there. I said, wow, we talked about Made in America. And I told him I was going to have a big network, the Lindell Recovery Network.org, and help millions of addicts set free. And I got out of there. I went back to Minnesota. I did a press release. Hey, I met Donald Trump, and I was their media darling. And when I got out, or when I did that press release, nobody called me, and I was just attacked by these bots and trolls and people I worked with. They were attacked, and it was like, and that was my first taste of this cancel culture. And I thought, man, I'm a horrible person. I go, what did I do? And but they're not real people. They're hired hit groups. They're hired groups. And right now, and then I went through it last spring when I talked from the Rose Garden, and I said we should get in the Word and read our Bibles and so on. I was attacked then, and then I was attacked when I had myoleander.com, the cure for this, or a potential cure for this. China virus, and boy, I was attacked then. Same thing, cancel culture. They went out. I lost QVC. I lost all kinds of retailers then because they attacked the retailers. Well, this time it's so magnified because I had a different piece of evidence that is the smoking gun for this whole thing, this whole election, and that was on January 9th, and by January 12th, I was putting it out there in a big way. And then they just went into full force. Let's cancel Mike out, get rid of him and his company. I was attacked in the media. I was attacked by late night talk show hosts. I was attacked by false stories to use against my foundation, and I was or my recovery network. I was all the vendors that deal with. All the retailers. They were attacked by bots and trolls, and they think they're real people, so they succumb to the cancel culture. Over 20 retailers now have dropped MyPillow. Then, of course, Twitter, and everyone's got to realize how magnified is this now because of this communist state that's come in, this fake president that's in there now, and what this all entailed by this attack by foreign countries on our country. And this is all everybody. You're seeing it all over now. But everyone's seeing it happen to me publicly, but it's happening to a lot of people. That just don't have the publicity I have. Like 70,000 people were taken off Twitter. They took me off Twitter. Then they took me off my company's Twitter. They took that from me. Wikipedia, I want everybody to know, an evil entity. They're all really bad, starting with Disney on down, all these entities that own all these broadcast or these cable channels and all these things that are owned by these big entities like Disney. Well, here with Wikipedia, the Wikipedia took me and attacked me there and stopped me from, Mike Lindell, this other company that puts up stories on Wikipedia that you have to validate. Well, they took away the Wikipedia. Now they can create anybody they want to be Mike Lindell, and that's what they're doing there. Google took me down when I came out with the absolute proof. They took me down. They won't let me buy my own name on Google, and I spent almost $30,000 on that Friday, February 5th, when I launched Absolute Proof, and that's when they went into full cancellation. They YouTube, Vimeo, and then I was buying my own name to get my MichaelJLindell.com site up there. And I bid 5 cents, then I bid a dime, then I bid a quarter, and I kept getting above all this other garbage they were putting up there. Finally, they just cut me off and said, "You don't get to buy your own name." So if they want to cancel you, I mean, they're doing everything they can to me and my company. And it's horrific. And everyone, if you succumb to cancel culture, we're done this time. We are done as a nation. We cannot give in. This is they can eliminate anybody. I have so many friends that had podcasts that they lived on 12 employees. They took away their 2 million followers on Facebook. I mean, these guys are all tied in together. All the corruptness and all the evil. This is a spiritual battle of epic proportions.
Michael, we'll circle back to that a little bit more in the second segment. We definitely want you to talk more about the video, but let's bring it up to current events a little bit. 2020 was a really difficult year in your home state of Minnesota. What's the social atmosphere like in your state right now? Well, in Minnesota, it's one of the worst places to live during this China virus thing. They locked us in on Thanksgiving. You could have 8 people in your home, and your neighbors could tell on you, go to jail for 6 months. And then on Christmas, you got to have a little more. This is the governor, the mayor, this horrific stuff that came out of Minnesota from last spring where the riots all started. And I'll tell you right now, they cancel culture. They're trying to control you. And Minnesota is probably one of the worst states that there is right now for all of this. And because we've also got problems with Elon Omar, and that's a whole other thing, the spiritual warfare with the Sharia law thing they're trying to bring into Minnesota.
Well, there's so much more we want to talk about, including the video Absolute Proof. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more on A View from the Wall.
From I Am a Watchman Ministries, here's today's I Am a Watchman Minute.
How many words does it take to say something truly important? The government's policy on the pricing of cabbage has more than 15,000 words, but are many words necessary? The 10 Commandments has less than 300 words. The 23rd Psalm has 118 words. The Lord's Prayer, 56. You don't need many words to have a powerful witness. Jesus said to Andrew, "Come and see." The blind man in John 9 said, "I don't know much, but I once was blind, and now I see." It's your passion and your testimony that make for a powerful witness. Visit imawatchman.com for witnessing resources, and don't underestimate the power of a simple, direct, "Friend, let me tell you what Jesus did for me."
Be bold, be faithful, be a watchman. IamAWatchman.com.
Welcome back to A View from the Wall. As Joe and I talk with Mike Lindell, CEO of MyPillow, we want to share the story of his new documentary, Absolute Proof. The subtitle says it all. It says, "Exposing Election Fraud and the Theft of America by Enemies, Foreign and Domestic." Now, Mike, I'll let you take it from there. Tell us what we will see when we watch Absolute Proof at michaeljlindell.com.
Well, first of all, you can go to lindelltv.com because they can't attack that like they did my own website. So that's lindelltv.com. And I'll tell you, when about January 9th, everybody's seen me in the news almost every day since that day. Well, as soon as I got this piece of evidence this spyware that came from the government, that they've had it. These guys that are cyber forensic experts, and then they also some that work inside the government and outside the government. They on election night are from November 1st until November 5th. So all this data was collected on election night. It's almost like having a cyber footprint of exactly what went on. The IDs of the computers that came in from China, the IPs, what computer that hacked over here, when they broke in, did they get through a firewall or did someone let them in? What was the IP of that computer, the ID of that computer? How many votes were flipped? And so it's like a timestamp. And when I had one of these, this is what I tried to get to the president back before the inauguration. Everybody see me on the news there. And so since that time, that's why Dominion and these guys have attacked me. They don't want this out there. That's why the cancel culture. These are hired hit jobs by a sleeping giant. These guys, these cyber people, or these people have told me I'm being attacked by more than anything they've ever seen to wipe somebody out because they did not want this evidence out there. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do a documentary and get this together and get it out to the people, because the people were losing, what are we doing? This isn't real. This isn't our president that's in there. Everybody knows this election was stolen by monumental numbers. Donald Trump won 80 million to 67 million. I had been doing my own investigation since November 4th, but now this new evidence was brought to me. So I dove in to validate it. And I validated IP addresses, everything you can imagine, I validated. And anyway, I got everybody together in a secret location. We had actually a big protection there with ex-Navy SEALs to try and get this done. We did it in 5 days. We put this documentary together, and this is why you see me on TV and you see me getting attacked relentlessly. So in the movie Absolute Proof, in this documentary, you're going to see miracles in there. There's 2 miracles I have in there. And one of the miracles is the night of the election at 11:15. Donald Trump got so many votes, he broke the algorithms they had set in these machines. So that's why we had the anomaly in the middle of the night where everybody stopped counting. They didn't know what to do, so they had to backfill. Like Arizona took 1 week to count the last 1%. That's a lie. What they had to do, they had to figure out how to get rid of 70,000 votes for Trump, and he really won Arizona by over 300,000 votes. This is typical stuff in every state. In Michigan, they had to backfill 100 and some thousand votes, a big spike in the middle of the night. And everyone's going, oh, those were the mail-in votes. No, the mail-in votes were counted on the morning of November 3rd. And the next miracle, I've even said to the president, it's a miracle that they didn't put him back in after just the dead people, that kind of theft. The dead people that voted that don't even live in the state. He had enough for all 6 of them states if they would have done their jobs to flip it back to Donald Trump, to our president. But they didn't do that. Well, God had his hand in all of that. And now what it manifests now is to where we're at right now, this massive threat of these machines, or what these machines did. That's the smoking gun. That's the thing. They go back all the way to Venezuela in 2002 when Smartmatic came there with the first machine. And when you set these machines, I'm going to have this person win by 3%. You just set them. And this is going to happen. It's a computerized algorithm that here's who's going to win. They did it in Venezuela. It took 2 years for communism to take over Venezuela, and it was over. So they have a massive thing to take over communism, to take over this world. You can see it all around you right now going, okay, even if you're a Democrat, you see, okay, well, the first thing they do is they cut the pipeline with union jobs. That's not traditional Democrat thinking, right? So anyway, what you see in this absolute proof, you will see 100% proof of what happened the night of the election and the votes that were flipped in every state. This isn't just these 6 swing states. So they didn't think that they had the spyware was on, and we have all of that data, all of the things, the timestamp right down to the second when the votes were flipped. Who did it? Which computer it came out of, and everything. It's like having a picture of a crime scene, only you got thousands of them. Now, there were 22 servers overseas. Most of it came from China. 62% of the attack came from China to our country. So you're going to see that. And I also made a shorter version now for people, if you go to LindellTV.com, you can watch the shorter version. It's 27 minutes long, and that's just the evidence. We kept all the experts and the generals, and the other one, the longer version, I got a general that he was in charge of the nukes for our country, one of the most respected generals ever, and he's telling you what this data is. We have people that can read, that read the data and can tell you, that this stuff is real. We have an FBI guy on there, of all these guys, and you get questions answered like, why didn't the FBI do it? Why did Bill Barr say this? Why did this say this? All these questions we have as our country that are unanswered. I mean, evil took this country, but you know what? I tell everybody, this is a miracle time we're living in. If they would have set the algorithms right correctly, but they didn't expect all these millions of extra votes for our great president. If that wouldn't have happened, if they would have estimated right, Biden would have won. We'd all went to bed at 3 a.m. All the states would have been done counting. We go, oh, better luck next time in 2022 and 2024. There's not going to be a next time. They went for everything this time. In 2018, all those votes that were flipped there, this attack started about 6-8 years ago, and they're just gearing up towards this big steal that they're doing now. It was over. It was over. You're never going to, they asked me if I'd ever run for office. Not now. Until these machines are gone, you can't. No, there's not, it's over. They're doing stuff so horrific now with these executive orders. They're sorting military. They're doing everything right now to gear up for what you guys see coming. This is biblical. So, but I believe it's going to manifest into God's going to win in all this, and it's going to manifest into the greatest revival ever. And this is going to be uniting of our country once we get through this. And there is a plan. I can't tell you the stuff that we have on the phone now, but I am going to say that I'm going to update LindellTV.com about every 3 or 4 days with communications to the country of what's going on and what you've seen happen in the Supreme Court. Those weren't the stuff that I'm doing and that we have our group doing. Those were other cases that were put there. I think there was a Linwood, a couple Sidney Pauls that they shut down again, and the Supreme Court. Who knows why they do what they do? They're supposed to be there to protect our country, but I believe when we look back on this, we'll say, hey, you know what, this, and all had to happen wherever we're going to get to.
Well, let me jump in here. This is so much information. I know people want more, so I want to encourage you to go to LindellTV.com. That's LindellTV.com. We're going to go to break, but stick with us for more here on A View from the Wall.
The Bible predicts the rapture of the church is coming. Are you ready? Soon many will be caught up to meet the Lord in the air. Only they will escape the dark days that are coming, a time of tribulation that will usher in the Antichrist and great destruction upon the entire earth. There's only one escape, one way, one light, one truth. His name is Jesus. He came and died so that we may live forever with Him. But to receive this new life, there are 3 things we must do, the ABCs of salvation. A, admit you're a sinner and that you need a Savior. Ask for forgiveness and receive His grace. B, believe that Jesus is the Son of God, that He came, lived, died, rose again, and will come again. Believe that He is Lord and God. C, commit to walk His path, the path He wants you to walk, and walk it out by faith. Then you'll be ready for the return of the Lord. To learn more about the rapture and how to know for sure, visit AmIRaptureReady.org.
We're back with Mike Lindell, CEO of MyPillow, and we've been enjoying a fascinating conversation talking about absolute proof and about his information that you should check out at LindellTV.com. And in this final segment together, we want to talk about some of the positive things that both Lindell is doing and as well as you can be doing as a follower of Jesus. We want to start off talking about this Lindell Recovery Network. You mentioned it briefly before. Tell us, what is the Lindell Recovery Network? How can people get involved in that?
Well, you can, if you know an addict, I can't think of a better place to just send him, because you go to LindellRecoveryNetwork.org, and that's something I spent 4 years setting up, and it's the best online help I believe you'll ever see. I vetted over 3,000 Actually, if you wanted to go to treatment, where the best are in the country, and they're all faith-based, they're all Jesus Christ-centered. But besides that, you can do your own help online. I've been there. I was an ex-crack addict amongst many other addictions. So there's nothing better for an addict to get help from addicts that have made it through. It's free access. There's no cost. So it's a great place right now. Everybody's looking for hope. And we still have a thing that wasn't addressed at all before all this stuff started and flipped our country and our lives upside down over the past year. It's almost exact year where everything was going great, and all of a sudden, boom, we've been flipped on our heads, and everybody's living in fear now. But we still have the addiction crisis that was never addressed out there, and I really believe this is the best help you can get. It's the best online help. This is stuff that is very dear to me, and this is also a thing that was attacked by they did false stories on me out there to try and attack this Lindell Recovery Network. You know, addiction it's big business out there. They got secular treatment centers that don't work. They have less than a 5% success rate, and there's a reason for that. You need to address those wounds of stuff that happens from childhood, whether it's fatherless, broken families, whatever it is, and fill that foundation with Jesus.
Mike, we're talking about cancel culture in the first segment and talked about how you got to where you are. There's a delicate balance here, and we like to keep a balance with this program. So there are some out there who, you know, they almost seek out controversy. You know what I'm talking about? Right. They're always looking for a way to get a little publicity. The Apostle Paul didn't back down from sin or apologize for the gospel or standing for what was right, but he also didn't go deliberately looking for trouble. Right. What's the balance here? How do Christians handle cancel culture, but at the same time stand for Christian values in a society that doesn't embrace that right now?
Well, there is no balancing act right now. Because you can sit there and be complacent and go pray on Sunday, but it's beyond that. We are in a time where, you know what, you need to stand up and you need to sit out and you say, I am for Jesus and I'm not backing down. And you need to not back down this cancel culture out there. These companies that do that to other companies, quit using those companies. I mean, this is what's going on out there. Everybody can play their part. When you talk about cancel culture, use your own discernment. Look at the thing. Look at my thing. Do you think what is the reason 20 retailers dropped my pillow who has nothing to do with Mike Lindell? You know, Mike Lindell. I'm out there. I advertise on both CNN. When you talk politics, CNN, Fox. It doesn't matter. I have 2,500 employees that have families and stuff, and they're getting just like Dominion when they went after myself and my pillow, which by the way is a big fake lawsuit. They didn't serve me papers because otherwise I wanted to do that. I could put out the evidence, but they went attacking them, and you look at that. Why you're attacking Mike Lindell because he's wanting to get evidence out about Dominion and help our country, and yet these box stores that I've done business with for years and years, broke bread with some of them, and they're boycotting or they're stopped selling my pillow because they're afraid of this big arm of advertising that comes down these bots and trolls. Well, you know what? They're as bad as the people that tried to do the canceling. So people need to understand that and just not shop there. You know, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to manifest out this other social media platforms. I'm sorry, Twitter, Jack Dorsey is very corrupt, and that'll all come out. Mark Zuckerberg, another one. I mean, these guys with their monopolies, God is revealing all these. And you can't just sit back right now and wait for everyone else to do something. Everybody, the least you can do, pray every day. We always say that. Stay in prayer and don't give up, because that's okay, this will pass. You know, when you talk politics or talking, this was a spiritual battle. We're in a spiritual battle. We're also of epic proportions, and we're also in a battle of communism coming into our country and taking over our country. When the United States goes down, the world goes down. This isn't something you're going to recover from when you have machines that dictate our election. And everybody sees that all this stuff going on, and it's horrific. You can turn off all your things and just live in a bubble. But right now, it's everybody needs to get involved. And that's what I say. You know, I'm going to be putting stuff every 3 or 4 days on that LindellTV.com, because I think people cannot lose track of this. I believe this is a time we're in. God's given us grace. He gave us grace 4 years ago. He's going to give us grace to get more people to Jesus. You're going to see miracles happen in here now. And you pretend we're living inside of a big movie, and this is a down part of the movie. But I'm optimistic because I'm going, wow, this is what's going to change the course of history and bring more people to the Lord than ever before.
Well, that's so well said. And there's so much more we could share, but we're quickly running out of time. And we want to thank you, Mike, so much for being with us. For more about your work, where can people go to get more information real quickly?
Yeah, it's at LindellTV.com, you guys. And we're going to keep that updated. I really got to get people pointed there. It's just so we can get the information out. One of the things that they do, this cancel culture and what's coming in, they want to cancel us all out so nobody can communicate. Or they'll give you a false narrative from TV. So LindellTV.com.
All right. Well, thanks again. And listeners, we want to thank you for being with us today. Join us for more episodes at IamAWatchman.com, and join us next time here on A View from the Wall.
A View from the Wall, in association with I Am a Watchman Ministries, exists to equip a worldwide audience with biblical truth, sharing it with others, and being prepared for Christ's imminent return. The team seeks to encourage, inspire, and equip watchmen for such a time as this. For information about the ministry and upcoming events, visit IamAWatchman.com. A View from the Wall is made possible by the team of dedicated pastors, editors, and the many contributors of I Am a Watchman Ministries. To support our efforts, give online at IamAWatchman.com and click on the donate button. Thanks for listening, and join us again next time on A View from the Wall.